whichever part of Kispest one is visiting, the old, the new, the rural or the city, it's immediately obvious that hard-working people have left their mark all over the place. There is an endless series of stories about those who have continuously contributed to the development of this district of Budapest, the one-time village bordering with Sorokság. Kispest, as it was called in the last third of the 19th century, became an independent village in 1871. Its area exceeded that of the present Kispest. It included Pest-Szent-Lőrinc as well. It was in the 1850s that, following a number of aristocratic owners, the marshy area with sand hills known as the Desert of St. Lawrence was purchased by the Belgian banking house. The good Belgians, however, wanted to make a nice profit of the area as soon as possible, so they have sold it shortly afterwards. The new proprietors, 2 engineers and lawyer, put up their lots for sale in 1869 at about 20 pennies per square meter. The first inhabitant, Mrs. János Czúr, might have wanted to escape from the busy city, or she might have been attracted by the rich history of the place. Other tombs and church ruins from the time of the Árpád dynasty have been found here, and legend has it that it was a favorite hunting area of King Sigismund and King Matthias. For more than 100 years the land belonged to the Grassalkovich family, and for a shorter period of time to the Héderváris. Mrs. János Czúr was soon followed by others. In less than 2 years the village was granted independence and could elect its own notary and magistrate. Another 3 years and Kispest became an administrative center. 5 years later, in 1881, the number of inhabitants, including the sons and daughters of 6 nationalities, reached 1,688, in addition to Hungarians, a large number of Germans, Slovakian, Romanian, Croatian, Serbian, and other nationalities contributed to the rich culture of the community. Just imagine how the main street was filled with the people of Kispest on weekends at the beginning of the 20th century, the new century full of expectations. Before appearing in public, ladies, of course, would pay a visit to the hairdresser's salon of Lajos Herbst, where the modern tools of the trade transformed them into stylish beauties. The honest tradesmen, merchants, craftsmen and shopkeepers put on their Sunday best and went to the promenade with the children, who were given the best possible education, even at the price of great sacrifices. The one-time main street was wider than today. 1 or maximum 2-storied houses surrounded by fabulous gardens were built on both sides of the street. Many of them served as cultural centers of the society. Choral unions, sport associations, social clubs and pubs helped to forget the hardships of life. The Kispest Concert Hall, where local and visiting troops used to entertain the audience, is still functioning. The Kispest Casino is also in the neighborhood. It used to be the favorite place of relaxation of the wealthier gentlemen who came here not only for the sake of good company, but also to try their luck at the gambling tables. Today this building houses the local history museum with an exhibition about the 20th century history of Kispest. Trams were first introduced here in 1900, and shortly afterwards drain pipes were laid too. In 1909, Pest-Szent-Lőrinc was separated from Kispest, which 3 years later became the seat of the district, covering Erzsébetfalva, Csepel, Sorokság, Pest-Szent-Lőrinc and Dunaharaszti. Károly Kós was a prominent representative of Hungarian art who managed to shape the age, style, mentality and the way of life of many, and whose ideas have completely changed the image of Kispest. Sándor Wekerle, the liberal prime minister, asked Károly Kós, the writer, graphic artist, welfare politician and architect born in Temesvár, to design a modern housing compound on the site of the one-time Sárkány estate for working-class families. The Vekelle compound was completed in 1908. The outstanding statesman and internationally recognized financial expert after whom the compound had been named was forced to resign in the revolution led by Count Mihai Karui and was imprisoned during the Republic of Councils. His idea, unique in those times, to create cheap homes for thousands of people in a large area of the city has already survived him by more than 90 years. Károly Kós wrote several works on the architecture of Kalotaszeg, his favorite place in Transylvania. His novel titled Crow Generations is a tribute to the memory of the people living there. Another source of his architectural works was Asia Minor. His book, published in 1918, describes his city planning ideas following the example of Istanbul, as he was open to Oriental influences as well. In the first decades of the 20th century, Secession, a form of Art Nouveau, became the ruling style. Károly Kós applied this style with a moderate use of floral patterns as ornaments and with singular colors on the buildings. The livable tranquility of the square and the compound is in huge contrast with the excessive crowdedness of the housing estates built later from prefabricated concrete elements. The latter is a result of mass production as opposed to the work of art created by real craftsmen. The choir of the workers' St. Joseph Parish Church at the corner of the square attracts music lovers from far away. World War I hasn't spared the local population. From 1918 onwards, a growing number of the workers of Kispest joined various nationwide movements to fight against starvation, poverty, and lack of security. By 1920, the number of the population has reached 50,000 and the proportion of Hungarians exceeded 92%. 1/10 of the working population were employed in factories like Hofferschanz or Hungaria Zsakat. Many of them worked in small-scale industrial workshops. The Kispest Workers' Hostel provided accommodation mainly for apprentices and assistants working in Kispest for shorter or longer periods of time. Today the building is the large cultural center of the district, offering a wide selection of programs including playing sessions for children, studio theater performances, dance shows, as well as activities for alcohol or drug addicts, classes in drawing, painting, pottery, sculpture, lectures in natural sciences and self-recognition, as well as traditional and modern dance courses are available for those interested. Having been awarded the rank of town, the body of representatives of Kispest applied for a loan from the Spare Banking House to finance the construction of roads and healthcare institutes. Libraries and art associations were established one after the other. However, rapid development came to a halt as a result of an uncontrollable indebtedness and the outbreak of the Second World War. In accordance with the Jewish Acts, trade licenses were withdrawn and war production commenced. In 1943 and 44, the town suffered a series of carpet bombing. In the years of rubble clearance, there was a growing demand for being connected to Budapest. Since 1950, Kispest has been the 19th district of the capital. Kispest has always been a keen patron of traditions, and as such the town erected one of the first statues of Lajos Kossuth. Regular commemoration ceremonies are held to pay tribute to the heroes, martyrs, and victims of the Second World War and the 1956 revolution. There is hardly any other place in the country where church buildings of the three major Christian churches stand so close to one another. In the middle of Templum Ter Church Square, the design of the red brick construction of the Roman Catholic Parish Church of Our Lady remind us of the Gothic architecture typical of the cities of the Hanseatic League in Northern Europe. Just a few steps from here, on the other side of Adi Endre Road, is the building and the ministry of the Kispest Central Reformed Church. Evangelical people also live in the district. They attend the services of the recently renovated church. Interestingly enough, the local evangelical community, for want of other resources, could only maintain themselves by operating a bazaar in the garden of the church. The chapel and the parsonage contribute a great deal to the religious life of the Greek Catholics. A lot of events are held in the Baptist prayer house as well. The Mormon Church has just recently appeared in the district, and they also have their own place to hold services for the believers. As a recognition of the religious life of Kispest, Cardinal László Paskai, Primate of Hungary and Archbishop of Budapest Esztergom, personally administrates the sacraments of confirmation to the Roman Catholic congregation. Classical concerts are often held in the Church of Our Lady. The Gregorian melodies sang by the choir of the Vas Lajos Primary School are followed by the spirituals performed by the male choir of the Honvéd ensemble. The Kispest Cultural Days attract visitors from outside the district too. In addition to open-air performances, competitions, children's programs and handicraft activities, the town hall is the venue of other outstanding events as well. Artists, art lovers and patrons are surrounded here by the pleasant atmosphere of a French ambience. Artists who came here to settle down have always been more than welcome in Kispest, just like János Nagybalog, who arrived here in the middle of the 20th century. The current exhibition has been organized to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the foundation of Kispest Artists Club by Dezső Gál. The exhibition is opened by István Haraszti, the Kossuth and Munkácsy Prize winning sculptor. The cultural days also contribute to the development of international relations of the local government. This time Kispest will enter into a twin-town agreement with Zombor in Vojvodina. In the meantime, the annual June festival is already at its height. After the performance of the winners of the Budapest Amateur Modern Dance Festival, the young ones may even ride on horseback. Or, if the ponies are too slow for them, they can try out the bucking bronco bull too. Those who are not so enthusiastic about the stunts of the Wild West can join a class in basket weaving or endure with patience the delicate strokes of the brush while a masterpiece is being painted on their face. And this is the swimming pool of Kispest, the most popular site of mass sport. The swimming pool is open both for professional swimmers and for families. All sorts of competitions are held in the water and in the surrounding garden, especially when new facilities are made available for the visitors. A great advantage of the new plastic football pitch is that kicking the ball is not in the least affected by rain or wind. After the game, the shorts and shirts will not be smudged by mud. The development of Kispest from the sandy marshy hunting fields to the heaving modern city has lasted for 150 years. The district has become an integral part of the capital by underground line number 3. The terminal at Kőbánya Kispest serves tens of thousands of passengers daily on their way to and from work. This junction is essential for the local people of South Pest, and it's also a preferred alternative for tourists who can access Ferihegy Airport from here. Commuters from the neighboring villages use this station to park and ride, as the underground takes them to the heart of the city center in no time. However, only a few hundred meters away, the garden city of Kispest offers a real rural atmosphere. The elderly would sit outside their houses to have a nice chat with one another. It may be years before some of them would even have need to go downtown Budapest. Walking along the lush gardens, hearing the greetings and the fragments of conversation, one has the impression that irrespective of modernization and development, people here still know one another.